Why Joyce DeWitt Still Won't Watch. He shot this one episode in 1977. Joyce DeWitt was born on April 23, 1949, to Paul and Jan in Wheeling, West Virginia. Norma DeWitt. The fact that she was born in West Virginia was where Joyce spent most of her day. Growing up in the small town of Speedway, Indiana, is a town near things in Indianapolis that would change her feelings from the Midwest and good work morals. She was one of 4 kids in the DeWitt family and grew up in a close, knit family with her family, such as her brother Doug. Her childhood was marked by traditional morals, a strong sense of society, and a lot of focus on education and the theater and the arts, which would become her life's work. Joyce went to high school at Speedway, Senior, where she first started to look into her interest in how things work. The real her performing skills and a desire to do it were quickly recognized, and she took part during school plays and stage shows that aid in building the base for her future pertaining to fun. After finishing from high school, DeWitt her interest in school and enrolled to get to Ball State University in Mooney, Indiana, a school known for having strong theater program. She got lost in it there. The art of playing, getting a bachelor's degree in theater, getting better at her voice, moves, as well as theatrical interpretation, wanting to get a better education, go even further, and succeed in a highly, DeWitt moved to a more competitive industry. Go to the University of California. In California, state of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, after which she would get her master's in 1974 with a degree in fine arts. What she did was especially impressive, because she was one of the few students got into the renowned MFA program at UCLA, a program that is known as one of the best acting schools in the country. DeWitt started singing when she was young, 13 years old, when she first started to appear on stage in a community theater in town works of art. Early acts like these not only proved she loved playing, but also taught her the feeling of connecting with live publics. How much she loves being on stage worked well on screen when she made, in 1975, she made her TV debut in a show of the hit crime show The Beretta series. Even though the part was in short, it was a big turning point, which opens the door to more chances to appear on TV. In 1977, when Joyce's career took a big step forward, her big break, she got the part that would make her a well-known name, Janet Wood, the smart blonde roommate who is friendly and humble on TV show Three's Company on ABC. The show, which were mostly funny, the mishaps of 3 friends, and they didn't understand with their owners quickly, became a part of culture unusual event. What DeWitt did with Janet, smart, funny, and often the voice of reason, struck a chord with watchers and won her a huge following. She stayed with the series until the end in 1984 and has been in 171 shows over 8 years. How she got along with John Ritter and Suzanne Summers star together. After that, Priscilla Barnes became a defining thing about the show, adding a lot to its long-lasting well-known. Once Thur's business was over, DeWitt was in an episode of The Collection, the TV show funder of Lost Loves, in 1984. But after this episode, she made the unexpected choice to step away from the attention and having a long break from playing. This is why for her break were private. After years by having to work in public, DeWitt wanted time to think and look into her creative hobbies and spark new ideas power. At this point, she turned into involved in charitable and humanitarian work, especially focused on tasks like being poor and hungry. Joyce DeWitt went back to acting with a taking part in the stage production of Noises off to Cherry County in Michigan Playhouse. This trip back to the theater showed how much she loved life, performance, and marked the start of her slowly coming back to show business. After 4 years, in 1995, she was in the movie Spring Fling on TV, a love comedy with a happy ending. She was on the screen with famous people, stars like James Earl Jones, Justin Theroux's Pat Burnett, Jason Hervey, and Mr. Harrington Jr. In the same year, she a minor role in the episode called While They Were on the CBS series Sybil, showing off her funny timing and adaptability. On her way back, she did a guest spot on the hit Fox show Living Single, which makes her even more well-known existence in the world of TV. In 2008, DeWitt made his first movie, an important part in the family adventure. The movie Call of the Wild is based on Jack London's famous book. That year, also went on stage again in The Married Alive is a funny musical comedy. See how modern relationships and marriage work life. These jobs showed that she's still having a love for performance, and she can handle a lot of different situations, of styles. In 2010, she took part in a small, budget comedy called Feeling Better Now that follows an artist and a strange person, a rock singer, on an odd mission to find a cat is lost. DeWitt was an important role, giving the story more depth and charm, the film's strange plot. In 2011, Joyce acted in the funny off-Broadway show Miss Abigail's Guide to Meeting People, Dating, and in the movie Marriage. She played the title figure is an expert on relationships, who gives out funny and often love and life advice that is out of date. That, in the same year, she went back to Canada to play a part in a performance of Dinner with Two Our Friends at the Hamilton Aquarius Theatre, Ontario. This story, that got great reviews, looks at how complicated marriage is and friendship, helped DeWitt show off she could play a wide range of serious roles. Stage. The next year, she took part in 2 different stage performances of This Is a Personal Play called Love Letters, Records the Decades. Long messages sent between 2 figures. In the play, she was paired with stars Tony Dow of the TV show Leave It to Beaver and Tab Hunter, Hollywood heartthrob in the 1950s in different versions, getting praise for her moving and honest acts. Besides being an actress, DeWitt has also looked into the world of TV making things. In 2003, she helped make and hosted the show Behind the Camera, unofficial account of Three's Company, an NBC TV documentary show that showed the tensions behind the scenes, problems and good things about the show that made her well known. The movie showed an honest look at how things work off-screen among the group and gave DeWitt a chance to tell her side of the story, especially when it comes to her much talked about fight with co-star Suzanne Summer. It was her job as a co-producer and host showed off her many sides ability and her desire to keep it alive, the show's impact in an honest and in a polite way. Joyce DeWitt, even though how well-known and popular she is in the public eye, has chosen to take a personal life that is mostly private, even more so when it comes to romantic concerns about family and ties. In all her years, she has never getting married, a choice that has lovers and friends for decades. She hasn't had any children, which has made her even more unlike many of her friends in the show business, who juggle well-known jobs with family life. Even though DeWitt hasn't said much in more information about these personal choices in the public, it's clear that she put her independence and work first, act and be in the theater, and maybe even herself, growth over traditional, what society expects. Her choice to stay single and being child-free may show a dedication to freedom of choice and a conscious effort to keep independence in a field where public there is often a lot of inspection and not giving up. It was one of the most important love. The star was one of her boyfriends. And Ray Benica, the director, they were being in a long-term relationship that lasted 7 years, from 1973 to 1980, time when DeWitt was becoming more well-known. National fame came from her job as Janet Wood on Three's Company. Benica was best known for his part in, he played Benny Goodwin on the TV show Row, and having worked as an actor and directing probably hit home with DeWitt's own attention to the job. Even so, they were together but never got married, was taken seriously, and was often mentioned in news stories from that time. The reasons why they finally breaking up were never made public in specifics. But the end came when they broke up, of DeWitt's most well-known relationships. After they broke up, DeWitt stayed, mostly kept her love life a secret, making her look even more like someone who cares about privacy and personal. In a world that is often marked by gossip and exaggeration are bad. Finally, DeWitt went through a sad event, getting into trouble with the law later in life, that bring her back into the public eye, bright light. She was caught in on July 4, 2009, El Segundo, California for driving while banned having an effect. News stories say that she had driven past a police blockade near in a park and was then stopped by police who thought the person was drunk. She was booked at the nearby police station, where she was given an official ticket, and she was later freed on her own accord. The arrest was very different from DeWitt's public image as a usually good person, and many of her longtime fans were shocked. The event was a call to remember the difficulties in life that even the public people who are calm and collected can face behind the scenes. The law says what happened because of the DUI took place the next year. In May 27, 2010, DWIT made a plea of no not guilty of 1 count of misdemeanor, getting behind the wheel while drunk. In an answer, the court put her on probation for 3 years and had to for 9 months to finish a drink, a program for teaching and rehabilitation. A measure meant to be more than just a punishment, but also as a method to avoid long-term drinking and changes in behavior change. Along with these factors, she had to pay a base fine of $510, which was made even bigger by the penalty evaluations, which brings the total having a big financial effect on a bigger number. In exchange for teamwork and being ready to say, no, in question, the court decided to throw out a 2nd count of misdemeanor that had been made against her at first. While the event was definitely a low point in DeWitt's otherwise spotless record, she took care of the situation with maturity and being responsible, following the rules of her term and having a low profile in the years that came after. The event seems to have been an one-time mistake in judgment, rather than it's part of a bigger theme, and she has not been in any major legal trouble since then, even though Joyce DeWitt is the best known for her part as Janet Wood. When Three's Company was a hit, there is still one specific event from 1977 that she has admitted many times she just can't watch after many years. The event in question is episode 5 of season 2, Bedfellows, which first aired on October 18, 1977. At first glance, it may look like just another fun thing, the latest book in the series, which is full of what people usually get wrong and laugh out loud comedy. But for DeWitt, the process of filming it left a mental scar that can't be erased, fully healed. Strange Bedfellows. This is Jack Tripper, played by John Ritter, gets drunk and sleeps with his roommate Janet, which caused a wave of laughable chaos and stress. While the situation may have turned out funny, on TV, behind the scenes, and the DeWitt's life changed after this event, being able to work with the managers. Several talks she has said she has over the years, Joyce had trouble with having doubts about the script, especially about how it made her look. Virtues. She thought it was harmful. Janet's honesty and turned her into a A-flat shape that is only used for simple laughs. DeWitt, who was traditionally, they were trained in theater and had a master's degree, took her art to UCLA and got her really. It was very important to her to making Janet look like a strong woman who is smart, strong, and not just the opposite of the show's real funny. It was also said that Joyce DeWitt felt that the bosses pushed her to leave. She went through with the scene anyway objections, which made her feel helpless, imaginatively pushed to the side. It was one of the first times she started to think that the artistic direction of Thur's business was moving towards simple images instead of the entertainment-based on characters she had signed up for in the beginning. At this time she was disappointed in her work and left, having doubts about her role on the show, and set the stage for more trouble between the cast and the show's executives. What made her feel even worse was the fact that level was needed for the scene of being close physically and suggestive, getting in place with her co-star John Ritter. Joyce and John had a deep respect for their work and a warm friendship. She later said that it felt strange and rushed in that scene. Exploitative. She thought it was written more to shock and get grades rather than character growth. That the people in the live room laughed, which was meant to improve it was funny, which only made her feel more open and at risk in the moment. Adding to her bad feels was the cultural setting of the time. TV first came out in the late 1970s, was breaking rules, and the company was known for its sexy humor and with a hint. But for Joyce, this event crossed a line with me. She thought that the honor of her character had been given up for the sake of showmanship. She has talked a lot about how the show's tone sometimes clashed, based on her own morals and feelings as an actress. It turned into strange bedfellows in her mind, a sign of everything that things were going wrong with the artistic direction of the show. During the fans have asked her about that for years, during talks and the convention public performances and exchanging fan mail. But DeWitt has always kept a strong edge. She has admitted it freely. That she hasn't seen it again, not even once, since it was first shown. She has even said she doesn't like second-run shows, marathons or sets of DVDs that put it in. It makes her remember too much. She once admitted in a rare being vulnerable. No, not because of what I saw on TV, but because it made me feel as a person and an artist. That's one thing. I've chosen not to live it again. In the bigger picture of her work, Joyce DeWitt's failure to look into this again show is a good way to remember the emotional problems artists often have to deal with behind the scenes. An act is, for many people, putting on shows isn't enough. It's about sticking to their beliefs, keeping their personalities in mind, and keeping the honesty of who they are. DeWitt's choice may not seem important in the big picture of TV history, but in her eyes, it's a turning point. A private stand outside of creative, she made choices that hurt her individually. Strange Bedfellows is still around today, an event that Thur's clients will remember company fans like its standard mix of silly things and flirting. But for Joyce DeWitt, it's not at all the same, a picture she picks to remain far away. A part of her would rather not read.